Welcome to this week's episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. I'm Mike Kinney, your host. Do me a favor, make sure to subscribe, share, hit the bell, let everybody in social media know what's going on with our show. We're focused on the culture of cars, and part of a cool car is having a cool set of wheels. And I know I'm personally biased, I'll just tell you in advance. But to me, one of the coolest guys on the planet cutting wheels is Mike Curtis, and he is our featured guest today. And he's a president of Curtis Speed Wheels, and this guy has been at this for a long time. He actually started around the age of 12 working his dad's shop. Randy Curtis operated Gooding Performance, and throughout his high school years, he kept getting more and more into it. And by the time he was out of high school, he'd went through 14 cars and including building a Chop Pro Street 48 truck. Now check this out. Family vacation 96, he takes his mom, and they're going to go see Disneyland. He goes, hey, there's this place called Hotrods by Boyd. Well, he and Boyd hit it off very well. He goes back out with his dad, and his career literally started about as soon as he got out of school. He went on to do a lot of work with Foose on Overhaulin, doing their wheels. He was with Boyd Coddington for 8 years filming American Hotrod. He's had the opportunity to work on some amazing vehicles, including Hemisphere. And our good friends up in Canada, J.F. Lanier, and the list goes on for his Riddler contender. And he's been at this a while. Now, this one's kind of interesting. So to get a sense of who Mike truly is, we have a video before we actually bring him on screen. And Rick, go ahead and run that video.
Hey, I'm Mike Curtis. We're here at 2014 Good Guys Columbus Nationals. I started Curtis Speed Equipment in 06. Started doing one-off wheels and kind of the show car, catering after the show car stuff for the builders and stuff like that. And then kept getting more involved with a lot of the wheel manufacturers and stuff like that. And so we do just a big variety of wheels. We also did the wheels on the car that won America's Most Beautiful Roadster this year. Almost every month, there's a magazine that we're either on the cover or in, featured, This year we were heavily involved with the Riddler winner that JF built. Did, grill, tail lights, park lights, wheels, all kinds of stuff on that car. I really support JF going for the Riddler and the Street Machine of the Year. I'm really a firm believer in you gotta drive the cars and use the cars. That's where you get the enjoyment. It's great to sit there and look at it, and appreciate that stuff, but it's really fun to use it and almost abuse it, but test it as far as it'll go. If I could give some advice, it'd just be follow your dreams and be yourself. Don't try to copy or mimic someone else's style. You can learn from other, pieces. That's what I do. Working with Boyd and Chip and stuff. Take small bits and then just combine them in my own.
Wow. There is some amazing cars in that little short video and that Mike's been intimately involved with. Mr. Curtis, welcome aboard. Glad to have you in studio, a.k.a. remotely. How you doing this morning, brother?
Good, Mike. Nice to be here. Good to see you.
Ditto. I tell you, for all the viewers, Mike and I go back so many years that we were debuting a 47 Custom at SEMA, and I'm in his shop this Saturday before SEMA to pick up the wheels, and we're back there helping drill the valve stems and stuff just so we can get them loaded and get her back to Vegas. And you are always staying busy, and I've always just been really struck with just your vision and your capability. You do stuff, for lack of a better phrase, that's so innovative and so different. Where do you think that comes from? Just because I know you have a lot of love and passion. How'd you kind of end up with this? You just continue to do magic, my humble opinion, man.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know. It just wheels are like the biggest thing you can do to a car to change the appearance.
Yeah.
And I learned that real young and just kind of started liking the wheels.
Cool.
When I started working at Boyd's, at first he just threw me in the wheel shop. And so I learned how to run the machines and set them up. And and I got a good feel for the machining side of it. And then on my own, I would practice the drawing and started to come up with my own designs, and
Cool.
yeah, it just grows from there, I guess.
You're right on target. And speaking about examples of design, Mike, you're the king of Segway, brother. And Rick, I think we got a few examples of wheels we can pull up, and that's almost got a flavor. Back in the day, they called them like a Keystone wheel. Right? You put them on the early Mustangs and stuff.
Yeah, or a Magnum 500.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, and I don't know. We've gotten actually now we do a lot of different hubcaps and bigger size wheels.
Oh, cool.
And
we got,
it keeps the feel of the old car, but update the bigger sizes that accommodate the large brakes and suspension stuff.
Yep, beautiful. Which then that helps, and you just have a vehicle that's more safe to drive. That's a sweet looking wheel. Wow.
Yeah, those ones are neat.
So we got, I think, one more here. I call it the steamroller. Was that like about a 20-inch wide wheel? What is that, dude? That's amazing.
It's actually 15 by 15.
Wow.
The old, like a 60s Cadillac hubcap.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. So that'd take a little while to put together. So for our viewers to give a little inside view, and we're going to run a little bit of video, and Mike, if you can kind of help walk us through what we're going to see here, and it's part of what gives a few examples of what it really is entailed to build these amazing wheels. So this is you get, right. And you kind of look like a mad scientist, Mike. I'm telling you, brother.
Yeah, this is one of the CNC lathes we have, and we're just setting the tools and getting it ready to cut the backside of the center.
Wow,
that's actually a forging.
Really?
We start with, yeah. Sometimes we use forging, sometimes we use solid billet, but depending on the shape and requirements we need for the wheels.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's on the mill cutting it out.
Wow.
Making chips.
Making chips. That's crazy. And lubricants going everywhere. I'm kind of digging it. I think we got one. And so, and viewers, don't overlook just the amount of just manual, hands-on time, right, buddy, to get these wheels right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's done in our polish shop, and I don't even understand how those guys do. I understand how to bring something to polish, but
yeah,
they're just so much more efficient at it, and the results are even better than you can imagine. But.
So for a given wheel, it can be dozens of hours to machine it and have it go through all the different processes, right, buddy? Yeah,
that one that he was just polishing. Mm-hmm. It was 24 hours on the machine.
Wow.
On the mill to cut in the design part. Because we cut both sides of it. That one,
right.
That one's like a wire wheel, but and then even polishing, he had 8 hours in polishing that thing, which normally we can polish a wheel a lot quicker, but just all the detail involved with that one was intense.
So that's about, viewers, that's over probably 30 hours and change in one wheel. So that you start to get an appreciation why what Mike Curtis and his team does is really different. And Rick, I think we have a few more pictures of wheels we can look at. Now, what in the world does that one do? That's just unreal.
Yeah, that's a custom. We call that face mount when we cut the whole front part of the wheel out of a chunk of billet. But those ones actually went to Australia. But he wanted that gold stripe on there, so we polished the wheel full high luster polish, then powder coated in like a gold transparent, and then came back, masked it, and did all the black painting.
Oh my gosh!
There's a lot involved in finishing that one.
Well, yeah. And so the next one, if I'm not mistaken, is that a Ferrari logo in the middle?
That is. That is. Those actually went on Testarossa.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And we got one more shot of wheels before we bring you back up. This one, I got to be candid, Mike, it just took my breath away. The intricacy of that. It looks like a wire wheel, but it's not a traditional wire wheel, right?
Right. Yeah, no, that's a billet two-piece wheel. And that's one I did with Chip Foose
Cool.
for his Jaguar at SEMA a couple years ago. And he came in with the drawing, how he wanted it, and then I put it into the computer full scale. And then he gave me some ideas, and I threw some ideas together. We came up with that thing, and it's pretty phenomenal, I think.
Oh, that is breathtaking. So, Rick, go and pull us back together real quick. So, for the viewers, and I mentioned earlier, I'm mentioning it, I'm kind of biased about this guy because he designed the wheels for our 47 Custom, blew everybody away. And I think, Mike, you sent me like 8 or 9 or 50 different revisions, and every one I liked it.
Right.
Then you told me I'm not done yet. Right? But to be able to collaborate with a designer and artist that has Mike's vision and expertise, it just makes, to me, the build that much better. I think you end up with a better looking car and definitely a better wheel.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy that part too. I'll put my ideas out there, and then get your feedback, and then together we come up with something that we all like.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely do, and they still stop traffic wherever we go. So we've talked about the wheels, and you heard Mike mention earlier, and he's right on target. The wheels make the car. Check out some of these examples that we have of the cars these wheels have went on. Wow. What do we got here, Michael?
That one, Chris Ryan's Rod and Custom built, and the white wall is actually part of the wheel.
Okay, no, okay. Wait. What? Yeah. The white wall is part of the wheel.
Yeah, that's all painted aluminum. And it's the same thing. You get to run the big brakes and modern suspension, but you can keep the old look and feel.
That is see, every time I think I got you figured out, Mr. Curtis, you do a left turn at Albuquerque on me, and you come up with something totally different again. I think we got a couple more here. Whoa.
Yeah, wow. Was George Poteet's Roadster that won America's Most Beautiful Roadster a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And Pinky's Rod Shop built that car. It's got true knockoffs on it, and we did custom nuts. The whole that one's cut on both sides as well. Even so, yeah, I like working with Eric at Pinky's because he knows what he wants.
Yeah.
And we also worked with Eric Black on that as well. So the three of us came up with that wheel.
Yeah, and again, when you can collaborate like that with the people at the shop, so you made the lug nuts?
No, the center nut is what holds the whole wheel on.
Got it. Yeah. Wow.
And it's got a special socket that goes to tighten it and everything else.
Nice.
And then those we actually we did a shot peen finish on it, so it makes it look like an old cast wheel.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too on that one, Michael. It's just it has such a different look to it. Well, that'd be the shot peening.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, is this JF's car coming up here? I think it looks like it has that feel.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yep. That's the first time he did a car for the Detroit Autorama.
Oh, really?
And yeah, because we had hung out at a couple of shows, and then he was having a show in his hometown up in Osoyoos, Canada, and he had me come up, and the car was just in metal, and we were looking at it, and I gave him some new ideas about the taillights. I was like, oh, you need to lay this tailgate forward and do the same thing on the taillights because of the roof, how it's got the roof slants back.
Yep.
And then he's like, well, what am I going to do for taillights? And I was like, well, we'll just have to make something. So,
of course.
Yeah, I made taillights, grill.
Yeah, that is just.
Yeah, part of the fun.
I remember, like, with our 47, we wanted to have like a little bull nose that we put in the door sills, and you're over at the shop in Corona, and you came by and just with a pencil and a piece of paper, and you just started sketching and says, okay, I got it. And so our goal was, and then we get out of your way. I think we got one more. I think we got one more shot. I think this is an amber winner as well, if I believe.
I don't. That one, a bunch of good guys stuff.
Oh, got it. Okay. So what else did you do in those wheels?
We did the whole wheel, but that's got like an early, like a V8 hubcap.
Oh, cool.
Like the steel wheels, and then it was kind of like an artillery type design.
Yeah, beautiful. What? Rick, go ahead and put us back up on screen together, because we got more cars coming up, viewers and people we got to talk about. This guy runs with a lot of them. One of the questions I would like to ask, and for you, just, I don't know how you're going to answer, but I'm going to give it a shot. So what is your favorite automotive memory to date?
Probably, I don't know. There's a lot because of all the TV stuff with the Overhaulin, American Hotrod.
Yeah.
Like it's just a blast. Probably my favorite is when I got to build my own car on American Hotrod. We did the Rat Rod build off.
Right.
And I did a Model A truck, and my brother out and helped. My brother went on the trip with us, and I don't know, just working with him is a lot of fun. And it was 8 days we had to build the truck from.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you've seen it, but there was another car that got thrown out at the last minute, and so then we had to come up with something. So we had the motor drivetrain basically done, but we had to build the chassis and make it all work and drive, and it was fun.
It's fun. So
then building it in the 8 days and then drive it from Southern California to Louisville, Kentucky for the Street Rod Nationals, where we had a People's Choice judging thing, cool. And actually won that.
Very cool
against Boyd.
Yeah, we got picked to be indoors at Louisville, and for the viewers, if you haven't went to the Nats, as it's called, it's around 11,000 hot rods, just everywhere there. It is just absolutely breathtaking. Okay, and you're not totally off the hook yet, Michael. So to date,
all right,
what is your favorite car?
It's an old one.
Really?
The Aluma truck we did at Boyd. We built, and it, cool. I'm really fond of the Model A Fords, and we did a 29 Ford truck that was completely built out of aluminum frame, cool. Suspension. I mean, everything. We tried doing aluminum rotors even, and that didn't work so well. But everything we could, we did.
Wow. Very, very cool. And that's a great build. We got a few more cars we're going to look at, and we're going to talk about some of the people you run with. This, as soon as you sent me this picture, Mike, I was going, yowzer, that's just sexy.
Yeah, that car is really nice. Gil Losi built that car, and I believe Steve Cook built the car for Gil Losi, but
right.
He's another one of those guys that knows what he wants and has a lot of ideas about how to get there.
Yep.
That car's pretty good. I believe it's got a late model Hemi in it.
Nice.
And I did the air cleanings on that car as well.
Oh, cool. We got a few more coming up. We had to throw this one in here for the viewers. Yeah, that's the car that caused me to get in trouble with Mike Curtis years ago. We had a ball building this one, man.
Swoopy, yep.
That's Swoopy.
Yep, that was a good.
Everything came out uber smooth.
What happened with that car?
We've still got her. We've got a couple museums are getting interested in it, so you never know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we got a few more shots here.
Yeah, that was a good build.
Yeah. Here's JF's.
That's the rear end.
Yeah, that's the Ridor car, right?
Yeah, it won.
And we saw in that intro, you did more than just the wheels on this one. You did a whole bunch of items.
Yeah, all the shiny stuff on the front end except the bumper, we machined out of blocks of aluminum.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I think
And those wheels are knockoffs.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And so the viewers might recognize this guy. Just.
Yep. That's I'm doing some stuff with Chip right now for the SEMA show coming up in a couple weeks.
Perfect. Excellent.
But when we got done drawing that wheel, and he's like, "Okay, I got to come up with a name for it," and he calls it the Hot Wire.
Oh, that's beautiful. Excellent. Yeah. So for the viewers, they say, okay, he does really good wheels. Okay, let's clarify. He does great wheels. And Mike is more than a one-trick pony. So we've got some pictures that we got put under the bundle of more than just wheels. So here's a few examples of how his mind works. You're into air cleaners, valve covers. It's almost, if you can think about it, your guys can figure out how to cut it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Grills, taillights, we've done bumpers, suspension parts.
Wow. Yeah, great example right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. So I think you've done suspension work as well, right, buddy?
Yeah. So that's I believe that's the fourth Foose hemisphere.
Right.
And I worked with him on designing the you can see the front spindles and the backing plates and the scoop and the A-arms, and I drew up all those parts with Chip. Even did the molds for that grill insert.
Nice.
And the headlights. Even the rear suspension is just as pretty.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we did the wheels on that car after it was done. Same thing. Cool. I got the knockoffs, and you can see that other wheel in the background with the red stripe.
Yep.
That's another one we did there. It's the red line, the black underneath. That's all part of the wheel as well.
Wow. That just, and for the viewers, okay, if you don't recognize, that's the front end of, I believe, Top Fuel. So you guys, you can cut their wheels as well.
Yeah. I did the front wheels on a couple of the cars that still run in the NHRA Top Fuel dragsters.
Wow, that is just phenomenal, brother. So yeah, and so naturally, Mike and I go way back. We bump into each other at different shows. And usually when I go to say Mike, howdy to Mike, there's somebody else in front of me saying howdy first. So we've got a few examples of the people he's run with over the years. And so you all, unless you live under a rock, you may recognize this team, and Mike's right there in the middle of it. So this was American Hotrod, and you were a principal in that show for many years, Michael.
Yeah, I was involved with 4 seasons on that show.
Wow. So hey, Rick, bring us back up on screen together for a second. So we've run with Dwayne, everybody. So just what was it like on this set with all those guys? Because any given day, it must have been slightly crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the deadlines were,
yeah, and
the TV didn't bring the deadlines. That was all just part of Boyd's, or part of the car industry itself.
Sure.
But
yeah.
The deadlines definitely brought some stress on, but we all got along really well.
Yeah.
And then they would take 1,600 hours of footage and cut it down into a 45-minute show. So they kind of twisted the story to make the story that they wanted to show.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But it was fun though.
I agree. And everybody I talked to, what they liked about, they captured just the the ability, the art of what you guys were fabricating, the way your wheels look when you cut them, and just so that piece was kind of hard to mess with. But yeah, I think they always have to kind of shape the story a little bit to suit what they want for the production.
Yeah, well, that was the first automotive show.
Yes, good point.
Discovery did. So
they were kind of sorting through it. I think we got a few more shots there for you run with people. There's Rick Dorla. Yes. When I was over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Rick was the third guy I met, so we're looking around so we can get him some coffee. And I think you've done some work with Rick, right?
Yeah, I've done quite a few wheels for Rick, and actually just did some bumper bullets and little grill bullets for a Cadillac he's finishing up right now.
Beautiful. Very talented, really soft-spoken guy, great talent in the industry as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. And if you viewers, this is the one, the only. Oh my gosh, Gene Winfield. He's just so gracious and probably one of the best metal smiths I think in the Western Hemisphere, Mike.
Yeah, well, and when we took that yellow wagon, we took that to Detroit.
Right.
In one of the dinners or whatever, they had kind of the life achievements of Gene Winfield, and holy cow, that guy has done so much.
Yes.
From drag racing, lane speed racing, and that runs the custom car world. Like, he's phenomenal, and he's still at it. He's still out chopping cars at car shows, and I don't know how he's in his 90s, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, he recently, now go ahead and put us back up, Rick, real quick. If I remember correctly, I think he's around 92. He and I sat down at Grand National early this year with John's Bucks, amazing production there in Pomona, California. And I said, he says, next week he's so excited he's going to chop a Volvo. And I went, what? He never chopped one, so I'm going to chop a Volvo. But yeah, 92 years old and still chopping cars. And, he is the Energizer Bunny. But he always got his way to say hi, very gracious, very talented. So viewers, if you ever get a chance to catch Gene when he's doing some of his work, there's nobody like him. I think we got one more shot here, and people may recognize this guy. And matter of fact, that's Swoopy behind you guys when you were at our unveiling in the middle of the SEMA show in Hot Rod Alley.
Yeah, I recognize that.
And to your immediate right, that's, to me, one of the legends of all legends was George Barris.
Yeah, George. George. He's done so much for the custom car world, and he a lot of movie stuff, and he was a great guy. Just
amazing talent. And again, George would flag me down. What kind of projects do we have coming up? What kind of shows am I involved in? He really wanted his way to be just helpful, especially like younger builders coming into it. And Rick, go ahead and pull us back up. We can chat just a little bit more before we run out of our airtime today. Because, Mike, I knew when I got you on the show, time was going to fly, man. So who's some of the – let's see, I was going to ask who some of your favorite builders are to work with. That's kind of a tough question because you got some great builders you work with, right?
Yeah, that's hard. I do a lot still with Chip, and he's really great because – like, I've learned so much just design features from him. Like, he'll start explaining something and I don't really understand where he's going or what he's talking about sometimes, and then once I do get it, it's like, holy cow, just like open your eyes up to so much other stuff. And
excellent. Sounds cool.
He's great. Yeah, Troy Trepanier.
Yeah.
Like, I've only got a couple chances to work with him, but I've kind of idolized him since I was little. He's been doing great stuff for a long time.
He's a phenomenal guy. But hey, before we say goodbye to you, we're going to pull up a little screen or let everybody know how to get a hold of you if you can walk us through that.
Yeah, that's the shop name and website. We're actually just redoing the website, so be looking for that soon.
Excellent. There's an email. www.mikecurtisdesign.com. You can reach out to him, and he'll go to God, great job getting back to you. Well, Mike, I can't thank you enough for being on the show with us today. And I know you got a lot going on in the shop, but let's get back to your crew. Thanks for being on the show, man. It was a hoot.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Enjoy it.
Thank you,
Can't wait to see you again.
Ditto.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, conclude this week's episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. You got to check out everything that's going on with Mike Curtis and his team. And until next time, enjoy the ride.